Now, let's move on to article analysis, second assessment, which is a pair work. It's also 30%. I'm going to share with you this link. This is from my my Google Drive. Okay, so I have compiled some articles. This might be too small for you, right? Okay, I'm going to share with you the link, and what you do is you choose the articles here. For example, 3J. Today's class is 3I, right? Okay. 3I. Okay. So this is your class. So this is the article. Some I have the article titles. Yeah, you look at the article title. This is the article link. Article links, and this is the article, and this is the name of the pair. Okay. For example, 3I. Let's say you can go through, okay, and then let's say you want to choose this article. All right. Okay, you have a look at the article. Okay. You have a look at this article, and then you decide to choose it because it's from New Straits Times. Okay, so it's easy. No, I'm going to delete this. Let's say you choose this article. Okay, there you go. So you click and you are redirected to the article. So before you choose, before you put your name, okay, for example here, Laila and Khai. Before you put your pair, this is an example, yeah, Amira, Ain, Ernie, and Shakira, Adib, and Aiman. So you put your name and your pair name. So before you choose, make sure you click and go through. Let's say you have a look at this article. What is this? This is an article taken from a journal, Creative Education. This is the information about the article, the publication, volume, number. It was published in July 2021. And this is the title. All right. The use of authentic materials in teaching reading to secondary school students in Malaysia. So it's a literature review. What is the meaning of literature review? A literature review is not a study. It means that the authors, Ramila and Maslawati, has, let's look at the abstract, okay? In Malaysia, to strengthen the English proficiency among Malaysian students, English language is introduced, okay? Students in secondary school must learn the language. As teachers, it's their role to grab students' attention. However, most of the students nowadays, so actually there's nothing much you can get from the abstract here. Okay, now we come to the main idea. Various kinds of authentic material can be used to help students in their language acquisition. Acquisitions mean learning, and to bridge the gap between classroom knowledge and students' capacity to participate in the accordance in the real world situation. Prior to this, the researcher finds that authentic materials are useful in enhancing the secondary school students to read and help students to explore more knowledge from this borderless world. So, this review, this literature review, will expose the readers to the use of authentic materials. So, the roles of authentic materials. So, this is what the whole article is about. So, it's very important for you to read the abstract and the teacher's role in teaching reading by using authentic. Okay, most of the findings show that authentic materials give positive impacts to secondary students to improve their reading skills. In short, the more materials the students read, the more knowledgeable they become. So what is the format of this teacher review? So if you want to share and cite, it is very important for you to know how to cite this in your answer, yeah. Mara and Muhammad, the author, year, title of the article, title of the journal, okay, volume and page number, and DOI. Okay, DOI is the registration, okay, of the article. So if you look at the introduction, you see many names here. The introduction here gives an introduction to the topic, that is the use of authentic materials. So the authors quote many other writers. Okay, so you might have to summarize. Okay, and you look at the point here, the use of authentic materials. Authentic materials mean not textbook, but materials like magazine, newspaper, brochures, yeah, to teach reading. Okay, so I'm not the only one doing it, using Reader's Digest, using magazine in the class. So if you read here and if you summarize, so it's very normal. I mean, like, this has been practiced all over the world. All right. And also the roles of authentic materials in developing reading skills. All right. These are you can read this. Okay. It's quite long. Okay. It's very long, but it's an easy reading. It's an easy article to read. You can just look at the heading here. Very simple, very straightforward, and focus on the abstract, introduction, conclusion. What the study is about, focus and explore the use of authentic material. Okay, and then in your assessment, okay, you have to identify a few things, yeah. What is it that you have to identify? This is a sample. This one more. I'll show you the sample of the answer. Okay, this is the article analysis. Okay, what do you have to focus on? Okay, evaluate the article that has been assigned to you and write a critical analysis of 600 to 700 words based on these criteria. What are the main ideas? What are the supporting details? What can you infer? What can you conclude? After reading that article, what can you conclude? Okay, the rest, E, F, G, H, this will be doing this lesson after the semester break. But I think even before we do the lesson, you can guess what is the author's purpose, the intended audience. Normally, journal articles, the intended audience is not for public. Unlike Reader's Digest magazine, that's why Reader's Digest magazine, the articles are simpler, straightforward, and you see the headings bold, very easy to understand, right? Because the intended audience for journal article is for researchers, university students, okay, and tone, bias. I will explain this more in the class, okay, and issues. What are the issues involved in the argument? Do the authors argue anything? What's the issue here? For example, in this article, the issue here is on using authentic materials to teach reading to secondary school students. Okay, let's look at another article. I've chosen another article. Okay, this is the name of the journal. This is the title and the authors. Okay, let's look at the abstract. It's a study, it's a research. This journal article reports a study on looking at the effectiveness of motivational strategies in promoting the reading performance of Saudi female students learning English as a foreign language. How do the researchers do that? By doing a quasi-experimental pre-test, post-test control group design. Okay. So this is how so in this article, the authors explain how the quasi-experiment was done, and also what are the results, the findings of the experiment, and what can be concluded, right? The introduction. And also you can go through very quickly introduction and the literature review. So these are the author's argument. Motivation in L2 means second language classroom. Okay, what's the motivation? Motivational strategies. So this is from perspective of teachers or lecturers. Okay, and these are all, don't worry about this, these are all past studies on and then and what are the studies, what are the methods, what are the findings, okay? And this is just problems, and this is how the study was designed. What is the mean? If like, what is quasi-experimental? So this is how it was designed, okay? And the teaching strategy, the motivational goal. So you can summarize this. Look at the result, and also the conclusions. Just pay attention to this. So the conclusion is motivation is vital in reading side. So you have to paraphrase this part. So you can take this part. Okay. So the researchers conclude that motivation is very important in teaching reading. Okay. So why is it important? So you have to summarize. Okay. It is also motivation that assists in preparing and creating efficient reading learners by rooting seeds of self-confidence and perseverance in L2, second language readers, learners' mind. Okay, why motivation? So in this article, the authors conclude the importance of motivation to produce, okay, to produce learners who are motivated to read and keep learning in second language classroom. Okay, so just have to summarize and extract the main ideas. That's all. And then you identify what are the main ideas, what are supporting details, what can you guess, and what can you infer, okay? Or you guess, and what conclusions can you draw, okay? From this. Okay, I'm going to show you a few articles, just to give you an idea on how to do this. Okay, this is Journal of Language Teaching and Learning, Language Teaching and Learning, Linguistics and Literature. This is the title. Again, focus on the abstract. Title, author, and where they are from. Okay, the language is very straightforward. Okay, normally in journal article. So the research aims, so this is also a journal article. What is the author's purpose? Okay, is to show the correlation. Correlation means the relationship between social media usage and reading ability of English department students at University of Riau. Okay, so this is the research design. The author presents how the research was designed, that is using quantitative approach. You will learn all this research design in your research methodology class. So if you familiarize yourself, familiarize reading journal articles, then your brain wouldn't be so shocked. That's why we started with articles in Reader's Digest, because you are used to reading articles in Reader's Digest. So when you read journal articles, your brain sort of like it's a transition into something more academic, more critical reading needed here. So just focus on so these are the findings, the analysis of the data. This is the findings. So the author presents the findings, how the author designs the research, and then social media usage can influence students' English reading ability. All right. Next is so you look at the introduction. These all are the previous research, right? And the methods and also the conclusion. All right. The conclusions. So from the conclusion, you can find out what can you infer. What can you infer from the article? Okay. English teachers to start figuring out how to use social media platform as a teaching tool. Okay. Because that's what has been proven, right? And then for English learners, the researchers would like to urge them to start using social media properly. It can be fun. It can be an excellent instrument for learners to improve their English reading ability. So this is the part that you have to extract the main idea, the findings, the conclusion, and then paraphrase. Okay. This is another article, the use of alternative materials in language classroom. Very straightforward, very short. Article, the abstract is very short. The article is dedicated to the study of various researchers' viewpoints on the importance of using authentic material and explore ways in which they are selected for a class. Okay, so just go through very quickly. This is just the definition. The definition of authentic text, the production of alternative materials. That's the author's argument, and this is the communicative approach. And you just focus on the subtopics, the topics in the article. This is just other studies, what other researchers have done, and conclusion. Course book versus alternative. Course book is your textbook, okay, versus alternative materials. Many teachers chose to use course book, whereas some teachers use them only to complement alternative material. Okay. So if you look towards the end, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Unfortunately, there is not enough time to mention all possible aspects in the study, therefore only some will be brought up. So you can see that the conclusion here not very straightforward, right? But what can you conclude? What can you infer from the conclusion of the authors? Okay, that's up to you. That's how you have to go through very quickly. Is there any because the paper is not very conclusive. All right. Last paper. Okay. Also on authentic reading material. Why do I choose authentic materials? Because Reader's Digest is an authentic materials. so that, you know, you read research papers, journal articles that in other countries, other researchers have been using authentic. There's nothing new about it, you know. It's been practiced by other researchers in all over the world. Okay, and then I want you to expose to you different types of articles. Some are well written, some very short, some inconclusive. Yeah, some the conclusion is hanging. It's up to the reader to make your own conclusion. So when you choose here, go through several before you write your name. Don't simply pick. Okay. You might want to choose the easy one, okay? But the easy one, maybe conclusion is hanging. You have to formulate your own conclusion. Or the paper is not well written. Sometimes you see some articles are very easy, but the papers are not well written. It's not really a good journal article. Okay, so last one. This is the objective of the research. All right, and the sample, again, using it's not mentioned here, but in the title, but from here you can see if there is pre-post test, so it can be quasi experimental. Okay, the samples are divided into two groups. Okay, again, and a post test, pre-test, the scores are tabulated, and the result is showed. Okay, if you have a link like this, you can download, right? Download, and then, okay, so that easy for you to read. Okay, easy for you to read the abstract. These are the keywords, the introduction. There is a need for including aspect of communicative competence in EFL. So all these are past studies. What is this? Oh, past studies on what are the models of communicative language proficiency? And then what is it? Community competence. Okay. Definition. Okay. Coin here means Himes was the first person to use the term communicative competence, right? And then on pragmatic competence. And then the variety of authentic materials can be from literature, CDs, DVDs, news, even brochures and menus. Okay. So the use of authentic material in language teaching is supported. So there are references. References mean studies by many professionals in the field of language pedagogy. Pedagogy means how to teach language. Okay, so if you continue going very quickly, this is the problem. You just go right down here. This study tries to investigate the effect of using authentic materials. Okay. The purpose of the study, the significance of the study, the question. Don't worry about this. Don't worry. And just so it shows that the authors has quoted many studies, okay, to support the use of authentic materials in teaching communicative competence. Community competence means the ability to communicate in the language that you are learning. Okay, how the study is designed. Just get yourself familiarized with all these terms, because when you do your FYP, you must know, and you will be reading a lot of journal articles. So if you just choose one journal article and you're working with a pair, that is doable, that is manageable. But for your FYP, you have to look at many more articles. So these are the findings. So there's a significant difference in the communicative aspect between the two groups. Okay. So don't worry about the data, but look at the discussion. Authentic materials are found to offer a good opportunity for teaching the communicative aspect of language implicitly. Okay, if you want to extract this as the findings, the arguments of the authors supported by their research or their experiment, you have to paraphrase this. Just extract and paraphrase. The result of the study also showed the experimental group achieved better than the control. So what's the experimental group? The experimental group is the groups that use the authentic materials. Okay, that is explained in the research design. And conclusion, very short. In using authentic materials in teaching communicative aspect of language is one of the best opportunities for language learners. Language learners would be able to extend their learning opportunities and participate in different type of learning. Authentic materials helps learners' outcome because their motivation, easiness. So these are all the author's argument. How they can come, conclusion. These are all the authors, these are the author's conclusion. How do they come up with this conclusion? Through the experiment that they have conducted. And the authors also came out with a recommendation. Do you notice that if you have looked at several types of papers, then you notice that different papers, like one paper, the abstract might be very short. Another paper, the abstract contains all the information that you need, what the paper is about, what's the study is all about, what's the finding, what's the conclusion. Another paper, you have to figure out, you have to read, you have to summarize, you have to search and extract, okay? But in all articles, you still have to search for the main ideas and the supporting details, and you have to be able to extract the right information to support what the author is saying, okay? And not all papers contains recommendation. Some papers just have conclusion, but there is no recommendation. All right, but this skill is very important because even in other subjects, you still have to read journal articles. This is also applicable in journal in other subjects where you have to read journal articles. So how are you going to analyze the journal articles for the requirement of other subjects? Okay. So I guess that's it. Going to stop sharing and stop my recording. Okay. Stop recording.